Alright, YouTube, this is Pat here. I've got a review for you of the K-Bar M.U.L.E Tactical Zombie Folder. That's a survivalist jargon for big tough knife. The zombie craze thing is kind of funny to me, because the likelihood of a zombie apocalypse is frankly pretty low. However, they're really fun exercises in survival preparedness, emergency preparedness, and you'll find a zombie bug-out bag will be almost identical to anyone else's bug-out bag, except for maybe more guns and a bigger machete. So this guy here, while not necessarily useful for any kind of zombie apocalypse, is a fantastic survival knife, in my opinion. Maybe not the best, but when you're talking about folders, this is probably one of the top end situations here. It's kind of priced and sized to be competitive with CRKT's M21 and M16 series, the larger 04 and 14 ranges. 4-inch blade with this nice rubber coating. This is really handy, but a drawback in one respect. I'll get to that in a minute. And the thing I love about it is the zombie green craze has actually resulted in a flood in the market in brightly colored knives and any other kind of gear that are really great to find when you drop them or set them down somewhere in the woods or wherever you may be. And that's what I love about this. This is a knife that I have taken and used out on medicinal plant collection in the woods. And while out there, I took the opportunity to kind of dick around, cut down small trees, split wood into a fire kindling. And this knife performed quite admirably. I even use it just around the garden doing plant pruning and trimming and maintenance and things, and it does a fantastic job. It's turned into an everyday carry. Now, in terms of everyday carry, this guy is pretty big. It's one of those things, after a while, you're not actually going to realize how big it is anymore. It'll just become normal. But at first, it is actually kind of noticeably large. 4-inch blade. It's almost 5 inches closed down. And the thing weighs half a pound. I mean, what you see before you is 1 pound of knife, which is a lot more talking about folders. But that extra girth and heft lead to a really sturdy and substantial knife. It is made in Taiwan. Not an American-made knife, though an American company from K-Bar. But when you get right down to it, this doesn't really detract from its usefulness and its ability to perform. It has AUS 8 steel to a flat grind, and I love that flat grind because it makes it super easy to sharpen, and that AUS 8 steel holds an edge well enough. Coming in at about $40, you can find it for $30 to $40. I got this guy brand new on eBay for about $35. This guy used on eBay for about $10. So super affordable knife. And when you get right down to comparing quality and service and function, this is a great bang for your buck. Does a really great job considering the price point that you get it at. I've come to prefer the straight edge, for the most part, partly serrated edges. For the uses I find myself needing, take up more blade than is worth sacrificing to have straight edge. So for the most part, I stick with the straight edge with just about everything. There is one drawback and complaint that I've seen from other users and have actually experienced lightly with this serrated one, is that the back lock fails when struck. There are fewer complaints than there are success stories with this knife, and so It could be a manufacturing fluke. K-Bar has, in press releases and responses to comments on the internet, gone and actually fixed this issue of having the back spine lock here give way under pressure. This used one, I'm assuming one of the older models, does in fact do that. Let me give it a whack here. Whoa! Too much gusto. So there it is. That's what happens with one whack on the back. And the straight edge does not have that problem. So chances are, if you're finding an older one or a used one, you may have this older problem. Hopefully by now, most of the faulty lockbacks have filtered through the market, and if you go and buy a brand new one, you have a substantially higher chance of getting a really safe back lock. That lock failure is actually why I stopped using the serrated as well. Here you can see it in size comparison to a CRKT Igniter T. A whole lot bigger, a whole lot heavier, but it's one of those, what are you going to give up to have certain benefits, because rarely are there perfect everything in every knife. Take for instance this rubberized gripping. When handling the knife, this gives you a super substantial hold. Even in wet, sweaty hands, I was not afraid I was going to lose grip on this knife. However, when it comes to the claim of being an awesome tactical defense folder, the fact is when you have this clipped into your pocket, this rubber puts a lot of grip on your pocket fabric, and it doesn't come out fast. This is certainly not the fastest draw folding knife I've ever seen. And so that's, again, not a tactical combat self-defense feature. That is a sturdy utility knife survivalist heavy use feature. And that's, at the end of it all, that's exactly what this knife is. If you get one that's not a lemon, or that's not a defect, or that's not broken, you're going to have for yourself a highly affordable, large, hefty folder, and it's going to be a tool. This thing is a tool. It's not a weapon like some knives are designed to be. This thing is a tool, which makes it great for backcountry uses, for survivalist uses. If weight is a concern, this is not the knife for you. If combat readiness is a concern, this is not the knife for you. If price point is a concern, this is a knife for you to consider. If heft and durability and strength is a concern for you, this is a knife to consider. So there you go. Hope that was helpful to all of you knife aficionados out there, and Godspeed.